Hey guys, Gray here again. So we've been over the 5 things I love about this car, the 5 things I hate about this car, as well as the experience buying it. But what's it like to daily drive it? I think we should go for a drive and talk about it. Now, in terms of living with the E38, one of my favorite things is the comfort and the quietness that comes along with it. Right now, we're on the highway doing $120, and you can't hear anything. It's smooth as anything. As you can see, I don't have a professional mount. The camera's barely moving. I just went over a bump. But even though I'm on coilovers right now, I haven't driven the car on regular suspension, but even on coilovers, the ride is very pleasant, super planted, it's comfortable, and even aside from driving dynamics, the seats are so comfortable. I can honestly sit here all day. I've done 6-7 hour road trips with this thing, and I'm more refreshed than I am tired when the road trip is done. It's quite a wonderful place to be, and honestly, this thing just eats up the miles on the road. It's wonderful. And while I'm on the highway, what a perfect time to discuss fuel economy. This thing on the highway, I don't know what kind of German witchcraft BMW did. This is a naturally aspirated 4.4 liter V8, and somehow on the highway, I'm under 8 liters per 100 kilometers all the time. That's cruising at 120, 130 on the highway, still under 8 liters per 100. In the city, you know, it's a little bit worse. It's a 5-speed transmission, it's not as efficient, so you're at about 12.5 liters per 100 kilometers. But even then, that's really not much to complain about with such a large motor. And speaking about the motor, it's only around 300 horsepower. It's not all that powerful, it's not all that crazy. However, when you need to pass someone, it gets the job done. Another big positive with living with this car, driving it daily, is the amount of space. I went over that in the 5 things I love video, but I don't think you understand how spacious this car is. I'm 6'4", and I can sit behind myself. But get this, a few weeks ago, I was driving, I had my 6'6" friend in the passenger seat, and my 6'3" friend behind him. We all went for supper, and we all fit perfectly. No one was rubbing elbows, nothing. This car has so much space. Even if you're a ridiculously tall Eastern European guy, and you have other ridiculously tall friends, you'll fit. You will be 100% okay. And I would say that's a huge advantage over the regular wheelbase 7 Series, as well as the E39 5 Series. You're gonna have a lot of room. Another thing that comes with living with the E38 is the amount of attention it gets. So when I got the E38, I bought it for my own enjoyment. I wasn't expecting any attention. I wasn't expecting anything. Frankly, I thought that no one would notice it and just think, whatever, it's an old BMW. Wrong. There is a few reasons that this car does get quite a lot of attention. Number one would definitely be the Hollywood connections to it. So whether that be being in the James Bond movie, the demise of Tupac, unfortunately, this car does get a lot of attention from those 2 connections. I would actually say people recognize it from the James Bond movie more so than the Tupac one, but because mine is black, I do get the Tupac connection a lot. Another form this car gets attention is from just genuine car guys and BMW nuts. Everyone knows what this is, right? In terms of, it's BMW's golden era. It's the E46, the E39, the E31. All BMWs from that time period get a lot of respect when they're out on the road. People just genuinely gravitate towards them. They're beautiful cars. So if you're a car guy and you see it driving around, obviously, you know, you get the thumbs up, you get stuff like that, and it's definitely started a lot of cool conversations. And finally, you also have people who have owned this car. I've had a lot of conversations. It's generally older men, frankly. I would say between the ages of 50 and 60 that'll come up to me and say, hey man, like, it's great to see one of these on the road. I haven't seen one in so long. I used to own this, I love this car. And it started a lot of genuine interactions in that way too. So be warned, if you do want one of these, don't think what I thought, which is that no one will notice it. It'll start a lot of conversations, it'll get a lot of attention, surprisingly. People will approach you, people will talk to you, you'll get the thumbs up a lot. And that is one thing I will say, is that it is good attention. I don't get a lot of negative attention. It's a quiet vehicle. It's not the kind of car that's associated with being a typical BMW that, you know, you rip around. But if you're not the kind of person that enjoys having conversations with others or feels comfortable with people approaching you, I honestly wouldn't suggest this car. For me, I'm okay with it, but I wasn't expecting it. So if you're someone who's not okay with it, I would honestly steer away from this car. The only real gripe I have with this car, which comes with the territory of having a long executive sedan, is parking it. I'm very confident when it comes to parallel parking. I've come to understand this car with where things line up, when I'm in parking spots, what I need to look for in the mirrors. But don't get it twisted, especially because this car doesn't have a backup camera and mine doesn't have any sensors. I know some of them were option with that, mine wasn't. It takes a long time to get used to the length of this car. Once you're used to it, it's fine, but it is a very steep learning curve, especially when you're scouting out spots. You've had shorter cars in the past. I've personally done that a lot, where I'll see a spot and be like, oh, I'm fine to fit there, and then I try and go for it and I'm like, it's not gonna happen. That's one big thing, is the learning curve when it comes to the size of the vehicle. If you're not someone who's comfortable with the length, then there's nothing wrong with getting a short wheelbase or getting an E39. Those would be two great options as well. And they do drive similarly. So if you want that driving experience, but you don't want that length, I would 110% go for an E39 or a short wheelbase 7. So with all that being said, I hope that gave you some insight as to what it's like to live with an E38 on a day-to-day basis. Thank you so much for watching. If you could drop me a like, leave a comment, and subscribe, that'd mean the world to me. Oh, and before I go, I know I said before that I wanted you guys to drop a cucumber in the comments so I know you watched it, but I'm switching it up. So this time, drop a carrot.
They use carrots because it's a carrot.
Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.